Hello, I'm Stephen Hunt, and I would like to introduce you to Scarlet Rodriguez. She was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, lived for a short time in Puerto Rico, and then finally moved to the United States. She described to me the economic status of her country as either being poor, a little poor, almost rich, and rich. This is a picture of her and her brothers in front of the house she grew up in. She is actually wearing the only dress that she owned. She was able to visit the house she grew up in a few years ago, and as you can see, as far as the social economic status, she was on the poor end. Her youngest brother now lives in the house she grew up in. Scarlett's experiences with school is definitely not like mine. When she first went to school in kindergarten and first grade, she literally had to take a bucket to sit on and only had one notebook and a half a pencil to write with during school. As she got into second grade, she was able to move into the Catholic school, where nuns would literally donate school supplies, materials, and clothing for her and her family members to go to school with. She is not dissatisfied with the education she received. However, she is very thankful for the education her children are now receiving here in the United States. The community she grew up in was one of that everybody knew everybody, and everybody knew everything about everyone else. Something that I think some of us are a little aware of. She grew up in a Christian family. She went to church every single day. I asked her a question about certain holidays, and it was kind of a neat response that she celebrated Christmas, but it was on the 24th, not the 25th. They would have turkey and rice and spaghetti. They would wear whatever new clothes they had. They would throw a big party. And what's funny is they would just open the door, play music, and whoever showed up, showed up. Scarlett told me a funny story about this bridge. She said that they always wanted to cross to see what was on the other side of the river. And one time she actually did. She couldn't swim, so her brother tied together a couple empty milk jugs, put her on them, and towed her across the river so they could see what was on the other side. Not only her family, but a lot of families in the community she lived in unfortunately had to rely on some food that was donated by the nuns or a local charity. I asked her about her family structure, and the man was definitely in control of the household. They were actually afraid. Her and her brothers and sisters were afraid of their dad. The wife would clean, cook, and serve the husband. The boys had jobs to do after school, but the girls didn't have anything to do, and when they were old enough to move out of the house, they were expected to marry. Scarlett's dad was an African American, and her mom was a Dominican, and unfortunately, her grandparents actually disowned the family because her mom married an African American. One of Scarlett's fondest memories was being able to play in the river that was located near the house she grew up in. She was able to go back again with her kids and actually let them experience the fun times that she had in the river. She eventually did get married, and she did move out of the house. And her first husband, they actually moved to Puerto Rico, where she lived, worked just a little bit. Unfortunately, her first marriage did not last, and she ended up moving to the United States, where she met another gentleman and had two beautiful kids. They are no longer together, but her kids are the happiest part of her life. It was pretty funny talking to Scarlett about her past and her present, and she had fond memories of growing up back then. And what's really neat is that she got so excited when we found some of the pictures of where she lived on the internet. So she definitely has fond memories, and she believes that the way she grew up made her the way she is today. Scarlet currently works at Eisenhower Elementary as a paraprofessional, and she loves it. She was given the opportunity and she seized it. I'm very proud of her, and she loves working with children. She told me the happiest day of her life, of course besides her children being born, was the day she became a United States citizen. She said she couldn't explain how it felt, and that she almost got emotional about it. It was really neat. She just loves the fact that she's going to be able to give her kids opportunities that she never had. What I learned from Scarlet was that having a strong family, at least with her mom and her brothers and sisters, and a good connection in the community and with church were the things that made her the most happy in her life. The fact that she grew up poor was only an issue with providing opportunities, which she's very thankful that she has opportunities for her kids. I also learned that the discrimination factor is not confined to the borders of the United States. It happens everywhere. I think Scarlet is a great example of really knowing what's important in someone's life. Family, religion if you have it, and money is not the most important thing. I asked Scarlet another question, and it referred to if her ability and lack, I guess for lack of a better term, of English hindered her in the United States as far as employment opportunities and so on. And she didn't really know how to respond to that question. It was kind of funny. And I kind of had to put it in perspective for her as far as not being able to understand a test that she had to take, like her para test or anything like that. And then she did kind of agree with me that it did kind of hinder her a little bit. And then she went on to say that most of the jobs that she had here in the United States didn't really require her to speak English. They were more manual labor jobs, like she had a job at the Quaker Oats factory. I would like to end with a couple recent pictures of Scarlet and her family. On the right is Stephen, and on the left is Nicole, the loves of her life. Scarlet puts a lot of value in the relationships she has with her friends and family, and she is very blessed that she can provide opportunities for her children to do better than she did. She is a great person, and I'm better for knowing her. Thank you.